Hey guys, I was in the middle of working on the workbench and I thought about time to cut the grass because it's starting to sprout up. And so I just brought this mower over here. This was actually given to me, the Troybilt Bronco. You can see there's something wrong with the linkages and they got chains on it. My boss's dad gave this to me. It's got the typical Model 31 Briggs. This is a 2005. It runs good, don't smoke or nothing. It's been sitting for over a year, and I threw the battery in it off the diesel tractor just for right now. I knew it had a good charge on it. So I'm going to pull the jack off. I'm not going to go into an extreme amount of detail in this video, because I got to get the grass cut. I don't want a video slowing me down. I just kind of want to show you what's wrong with it. This tire was flat on it. I had to put a strap around it and put air in it. It held about a half hour now, so hopefully it'll be all right. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the deck off camera just to speed things up and show you what's wrong with this. The brackets are broke on it, so I'm gonna have to do some welding on it. This is gonna be kind of a hit and miss kind of video, just kind of showing you what I gotta do to get this thing usable in order to mow with. The deck spindles were locked up on it where it's been sitting, but I was able to reach underneath there and free them up by hand, so I figure they'll probably lock up again eventually. It does still have the chute on it, which I'll probably be taking off. It's probably a low hour engine, and the guy I got it from usually takes care of everything. See, the oil's pretty clean in it. We'll get it good and hot and mow with it a couple times before I change the oil in it. I'll probably throw a new spark plug in, just do all that stuff, you know. Yeah, let me go ahead and pull the deck off and we'll look at it and see what we're going to have to do. The way it's moving, I'd say one side of it's broke, I would say, but I haven't really looked at it. I just happened to see that one side on it the other day when I was looking at it. So let me get the deck off and we'll look at it. So I just found the first problem. The whole linkage is loose from this back. This is supposed to go through this bracket here and into this piece here. And all this is loose. That would explain the low belt tension. So that's the first issue, and you can see the brackets pulling up on that side. So we're all going to have to do a little bit of welding, but not as much as I thought, so hopefully it won't take as much. And pardon the background noise, I get the washer and dryer running. Okay guys, so I got the deck off. So here's the main issue we're going to have to fix. Weld that back. Not as bad as I was expecting. I thought both of them were broke off, but it's not. So your cable, it's got the spring on it. You can see right there. It'll come in here, and you got a hitch pin that goes on there, and the spring runs over. And the factory always puts them in this hole here. I always change it over to this one. It gives you more tension on the belt. Just if you have a problem with the belt slipping, check that first, just to make sure that it's in the second hole here. It gives you just a little bit more spring tension, and it actually makes a really big difference. You wouldn't think it would, but it does. So if you tried a new belt and it's still slipping, change that and make a big difference. The belt's still in decent shape. I mean, I might be able to get a couple months out of it. I will go ahead and order a new one for it so I have it when this one breaks. I always like to try to keep at least one belt of everything in stock. It's just a good habit to get into. Outer pulleys are good. There's no play in the pulleys themselves, so they'll last for a while. So let's clean this up a little bit right here where this needs welded. Get started on the welding. Also, the spring is broke. There's a return spring on this for the blade brake system. So I'll have to try to fix that one enough or change it out. That way that works properly. So while I was trying to straighten this up, I noticed it's trying to split over here and it was giving a lot, so I'm going to put this little piece right here in and weld it in real good. And that'll really strengthen this up. Just a quick tip, if you're not used to welding or it's your first repair or welding, you always want to make sure you take it down to the bare metal and get all the paint and rust off of it. That ensures that it will weld really good. And on something like this, I'm going to weld this part right here first before I put this in, then weld it in. That way it just makes it twice as strong. I'm not going to be able to clean this as good over here on this side because I just can't get to it without taking everything apart and you know, I just don't really have time to do that, so I'm just gonna have to hope for the best. And I'm gonna try to get in there with the wire brush and clean up some of it. But I may not show the welding on camera because the camera don't pick up welding that good. And over here where it's split, after I weld this and grind it down, I might put a washer or something over here just to strengthen that up a little bit. Just use that wire brush for like probably 20 seconds right there, and then clean it up good enough to get a weld. That little bit of surface rust will burn off with the weld. It'll be just fine. Okay, I'm just going to be using my little 125 flux core welder that I converted to DC. You can see the capacitor there and the rectifiers on the bottom. It makes a huge difference with flux core welding. Another little tip I'm going to give you: anytime you weld on a deck or an engine or anything like that, always make sure that you ground like the frame or the block or something. Like, you don't want to just grab a hold of a pulley or something. You know, yeah, that's bare shiny metal, but you're going to damage the belt, but you're going to damage the bearings in it. You don't want that. And you usually want to get your ground as close as possible to where you're welding at. And don't forget, you know, when you're grinding or wire brushing the metal, don't forget your safety glasses. And even if you're just tack welding something, don't forget your auto dartening helmet. That's the only type of helmet I'll use. Alright guys, so I got this welded. Got a decent weld considering it's flux core. Like I said, being DC really makes a huge difference. It looks a little rough in places because I was trying to layer some weld to make it a little bit better, but you know, you see, if you keep a steady beat going, my hand's not that shaky, not that smooth anyway. But it'll work. I'll let it cool down, throw some paint on it. You always want to paint a fresh weld because believe me, it'll rust overnight, even if you keep it inside out of the weather. So this cross piece right here was broke off here too, so I had to weld that back on and reinforce this side just a little bit. I took the shield off for right now. I might put it back on later. It's usually not recommended to remove them, you know, because it is a safety feature, but you know, I'll usually take them off myself because they always like to clog up. I'm definitely going to need a new set of blades here soon. Hope I can get at least 1 or 2 mowings out of it. This one, they're chewed up pretty bad. One of these is bent. I seen it. I can't remember which one it was now. This one here, it's bent down. So I'm going to have to try to straighten that up the best I can and get a couple mowings out of it. Probably won't cut it as good as it should, but okay guys, I got the blade straightened and sharpened the best I can. I've never liked this curved type blade like this. It's like a mulching blade or a multi-purpose blade. I don't like that, so we're definitely going to get a new blade for it. It's not going to cut very good like it is. It'll be better than it was, and it'll get the grass cut, and that's all that matters right now. Alright, so I just rebent the spring in order to use it temporarily. This just keeps tension on the blade breaks. You disengage the blades. So it's pretty much ready. I threw some paint on it just to keep everything from rusting, so it's pretty much ready to go. Okay guys, so I got the deck back on. Everything's hooked up, and it appears to be working now. Both sides are going up and down. We're getting better engagement now. Some decent belt tension. I'd rather had a little bit more, but I put it back in the original hole. Probably should have changed it, but I think it'll be fine for right now. Here's the new blades I got. These are the regular high lift. They're not the mulching type like this. They go by different part numbers than what the motor calls for. These call for a 9420161. But you got several different part numbers that'll interchange on these. The main thing is the length of the blade. It is for a 42-inch motor blade set, and it's a 6-point star pattern. Also thought I'd change the spark plug real quick. Probably a good thing. I wasn't expecting it to look like that. It's got a Champion RC 12YC. I'm replacing it with a NGK BKR5E. It's a really good spark plug for these engines. Well guys, I just wanted to do a little follow-up on it. Sorry I didn't get a clip of it while I was mowing. I kind of forgot about it, and it got dark on me at about the same time. So also wanted to, it did pretty good. The belt came off one time, and I put it back on and didn't have no problem after that. One thing I am going to change, and I don't recommend doing it for safety purposes, the engine shuts off if you got it in reverse with the blades on. I got to change that. Other than that, it did good. It seemed like I cut all our grass here, and that's the only amount of gas I use, so I'm not going to be using too much gas with it. Also wanted to do an update on the FS250 that I pieced together last fall. It's the first time I used it. It did good, plenty of power. The only problem is the kill switch isn't working, and it's not idling down, but other than that, it's working good. Well guys, I know this wasn't the best video I've ever put up, because it's not a step-by-step. I just want to kind of show you what it took to get this motor going, you know. Both these things were completely free, so you know, minimal investment, you know, a set of blades for this and a battery, and you all seen the video on that. So, well, thanks for watching guys. If you got any questions or comments or anything else, feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. So, thanks for watching guys.